Right. Welcome to the Cluster Addons meeting. Today is the 9th of June. We had a bit of a chat before we started recording already. Sandeep let us know that he just landed a bunch of changes for the coordinates operator. It's been moved to version 2, and we have a docs PR sitting in the queue. So who wants to help with that? That would be great. And Sandeep, you just had a follow-up question.
Yeah, so basically, for the operators, is there any plans for them to, be adopted by, for example, KubeADM or COPS? And if there is any work I could help with it, I'm most certainly happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you for everything you've done. I can speak a little bit about what we're trying to do in COPS. We are definitely, we definitely want to adopt them. We have laid a bunch of foundations. I think we had some challenges about like which release it should go into, and we have now just opened up, I think, our next release. So I think it's probably a great time to get it in there. I think we have a lot of the mechanics in place already. I think getting the first one in is always going to be the hardest. It'd be great to work with you to figure out what is needed there. I'm happy to do the sort of work on the COP side, and there might be some, maybe there's some stuff on the CoreDNS operator side, but I think it would be a great thing to do to get CoreDNS using the operator, particularly with version 2 now. I can't speak to KubeADM, but I imagine that having it in one of them will be a good first step, or at least one of them will be a good first step, because it will sort of hopefully like make the other ones more apparent. I don't know if anyone else on the call can speak to KubeADM.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the plan is for it, for example, in COPS to be in by 119 or 120. Is there any target for that?
I would like to see it in 119, yes. So yeah, we just opened the 119 branch, or I should say we carved off the 118 branch as its own branch. So yes, I'd like to see it in COPS 119. I think we're also talking about making core DNS and node local DNS the default in 119. So that all sort of fits together in a nice sort of story for 119, I guess.
Yeah, I actually have the PR open for the CoreDNS default.
Yes, that's great. Yes, I think making that the default is great. And then yeah, we decided to hold node local DNS until we did core DNS at the same time, is what I sort of recall.
All right. For KubeADM, I think I saw like a long time ago there were like a couple of caps which was open, and then the KubeADM folks did not quite like which direction this was taking. So I don't know, maybe we could just sync up with the KubeADM guys and see which direction they would like, or is there anything we could do to fix everything?
Yeah, I wish Lee was here right now because he has the most detail on all the discussions. So basically, Lee wrote a proof of concept that used the add-on installer library. It was working. In the meantime, a bunch of the internals of KubeADM changed, so that would need an update. But the KubeADM also wanted a cap that, because they want to retire their own internal add-on mechanism they have right now, they had some requirements on or questions about add-on lifecycle, who's going to maintain the operators later on. So they wanted to see some buy-in from core DNS and kube proxy people, because I think that's the two add-ons that are currently installed by KubeADM with the baked-in mechanism they have. So there were a bunch of open questions, and it just got a larger and larger project. But there is a cap, there is a proof of concept by Lee. I believe it's currently stalled. I can add the links to the agenda. I'm not sure if anyone is on the call who has more detail than that or wants to correct me.
I don't know about more detail. I remember there was a lot of sensitivity about, we could break something, and it was like around the amount of extra work that this was putting onto other kubeadm maintainers.
I mean, I'd say that certainly isn't the intention, right? Like there will be some work in the transition period, but the intent is that the long term, the work will be devolved to the teams that know it best. And like Sandeep, I think you're pretty involved in the core DNS project, so I'm right. Is that fair? And I'm super excited to see your.
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved since actually Kubernetes 1.9.
Right.
So
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, so I would certainly be willing to take responsibility to maintain the core DNS operator, for example. So if the kubeadm folks have any doubts on that, I can step up and say, hey, I'm there. Do not worry about it.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And that's exactly what I think we're hoping to see is, it's not a life commitment, but like the people that are most involved in core DNS best understand how to install core DNS, and so it's great to see sort of people that are very familiar with that community stepping up, and that is the real goal, that like kubeadm doesn't have to necessarily keep track of exactly like all the core DNS changes and v2 and all that, but instead can essentially like make the operator the contract and just write to that contract, and it should be an easier situation for kubeadm in the long term, and selfishly for cops, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I saw you you joined. We were actually just discussing barriers to getting the add-on operators into kubeadm. We discussed the process for getting them into cops. Sandeep was asking about like getting the core DNS operator into kubeadm, and I don't know whether you had any additional context you wanted to share. Oh, yeah.
Are you talking to me, Justin?
Yes, because I just saw you. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the approach that the kubeadm maintainers want to take is to get the ability to install Kubernetes without any core add-ons, and then delegate to other tools. Not sure that this is the complete story that we want to offer to users. It's a good first step. There's a dissonance of configuration in what's available to people right now with kubeadm. Some of the things that are necessary to configure the runtime, like ignoring pre-flight checks and things like that, are not available in the kubeadm config APIs. So skipping a phase using a configuration is not possible right now. Similarly, adding an add-on phase and making that optional in the configuration, I was just using the feature gate, but ideally there should be something more core to how kubeadm runs and how it's configured. These aren't hard problems to solve. I think that the friction is mostly social. There's a real lack of desire to change the APIs in kubeadm. It does cause significant number of issues, user issues, reported when we change the APIs.
Yeah, it's changing the APIs is always tough. in COPS, we try to like support the old APIs as well, right? It's sort of like additive. So, but is that the approach that's is even additive controversial, or?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be, but it is. It's anything new in Kubernetes seems to be like really hasty on support. So
yeah, so I mean, maybe our approach should be sweeten the pie, right? Keep adding more operators, get them working in other projects. Like I don't know or at least for the non-core ones, like in Cluster API and in COPS and other tooling, and then we can say, look, like you got these two residual built-in operators, like why not switch them as well?
Yeah, I think that's a good long-term approach, is to make sure that the solutions are good for the community, make sure they're solid, and that turns the conversation into something that's much easier to be like, hey, we should really have an interface for this directly in the installation tool, because I like that we have this cluster manager type add-on capability starting to come up in Cluster API with the close supply operator, and that's really terrific, but it doesn't solve users' problems in a world where they are not using Cluster API, and I think that there is going to still be a long period where that's not ubiquitous. So it either the responsibility of installing add-ons should really be part of the installation flow, or it should be a separate tool that is in between those things. Having it at the cluster management layer is just, it's a higher order problem that's being solved there.
Yeah.
All right. So just to consolidate thoughts on that, is we want to make the ecosystem healthy. We'll continue chatting with the Kubernetes maintenance team about what their desire for support is, and help them continue to pursue healthier configuration and the ability to run Kubernetes using a configuration that skips phases. I think there might be some small edits in the upgrade phase as well. If we can get there, then at least that will unblock cluster API provider, bootstrap provider Kubernetes, because then we'll be able to actually manage core DNS operator in cluster API clusters. Similarly, we could do kubeproxy.
That sounds great.
I just realized Somtochi is there. Maybe you want to say a couple of things about Summer of Code?
Yeah, good day, everybody. Yeah, my name is Somto, and I've been working on cluster add-ons for Google Summer of Code for about some weeks now. So far it's been fun. I've had like good guidance from Justin and Lei, and also other people who have taken out their time to answer my questions. And yeah, it's been really interesting working on the Coastal Addons project. I feel there are a lot of interesting problems that I would like to solve, and I'm definitely enjoying contributing to the project. Thank you.
Yeah, it was some pretty exciting patches going into Jeff's work on the kube proxy operator. I think that you're tackling some of the problem spaces that are very like they're in the lower level portion of Addons, which is good. It's a strong background. Thanks for working on this project with us.
You're welcome.
All right.
Cool. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Or are we done for today? All right. Let's wrap up then. Have a nice day, everyone, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.